I'm curious. So all of you, just for the record, are 30 or under in terms of your age. So I'd like to know whether you think your generation has it easier or harder than prior generations did when they were your age, or whether you have it about the same as those generations. Okay? So easier or harder or about the same? By a show of things, who said that your generation has it harder than previous generations at your age? 6 of you, all but Noah. Noah, what would you say? Same or easier?
I feel like the same, but it kind of depends on the lens that you look at it from. Like it's kind of very generalizing to say like one generation has things harder.
Okay, thank you. So for the 6 of you, say it's harder. Andrew, what do you say? What makes it harder?
The cost of things, it's more difficult to afford college education, more difficult to afford a house. Just the cost of things are more expensive than our parents or grandparents' generation.
Okay. Other than cost, what were other reasons why the other 5 of you said it's harder? Samuel?
Just kind of the global outlook, um, global warming, um, the things that are projected to continue to get worse, um, things like that.
Okay. Joel?
Largely the internet. It just zaps our energy, zaps our emotions, all of that, and it's a new type of like self-defense that we need to have now.
Okay. Thanks. John?
Yeah, I think like with the introduction of like social media, I feel like a lot of people in our generation have like a lot more like nuanced problems with social media, with just like maybe like the stuff in the food or water or stuff like that. Just like a lot more nuanced problems.
Explain the internet and food and water.
It's just like as time goes on, there's like we have more of these like genetically modified like ingredients, like a lot more artificial things. Is like are kind of like going away from like organic food, that kind of stuff. I which I guess if it's better or worse, it's up to you. But for me, like I just feel like we're like straying farther and farther away from our roots.
Thank you. Any other reasons why people say it's harder other than the ones that were mentioned? Andrew?
There's a lot more climate catastrophes that are happening.
Okay, got it. So let me call on you, all of you individually for this next question. And don't blurt out an answer. I'm going to call on you. If you had to describe your generation in a word or phrase, what word or phrase would you use? Don't overthink it. It's like the first thing that comes to mind. Does everybody have one? You all do? Okay, great. Jake, I'm going to start with you.
Um, Unmotivated.
Unmotivated. Okay. Samuel?
Social.
Andrew?
Emboldened.
Noah?
Connected.
John?
Overstimulated.
William?
Burnt out.
Joel?
Hopeless.
And I'd like to hear from each of you. Who are your male role models? Could be family, friends, people in media, sports, entertainment, doesn't matter where. I'd like to know who your male role models are. Everybody have one? At least one in mind? Anybody need an extra second to think of it? All right. Noah, who are yours?
I would say mine is my dad.
Okay. John?
I'd say like maybe like my father or like scientists like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay. Jake?
Father as well.
Samuel?
Yeah, my father or my brothers.
Andrew,
My high school physics teacher.
Joel,
A few journalists.
you want to give me a name of one?
Barry Lopez.
Okay. William?
That author I mentioned, Ryan Holiday, is a good role model.
Great. All right. I'd like to know whether you think your generation has it easier or harder than prior generations when they were your age, or whether you have it about the same as those generations. So whether you have it harder, whether you have it easier, or about the same. So by a show of fingers, who would say that your generation has it harder than other generations at your age? 6 of you. Okay. Who says you have it easier? 2 of you. Okay. So for the 6 of you say you have it harder. How so? Brandon, how so?
The purchasing power of a dollar, it simply doesn't go as far once adjusted for inflation of what my parents had at this age compared to what the opportunities I have ahead of me.
Okay. Other ways in which you have it harder.
I would say similar to what Brandon kind of touched on. Just you look at what our parents were able to buy for $10,000 back in the day. I just went through trying to buy a house 2 years ago, and kind of the struggles that you come through, and you got to be making 150,000 just to get your standard 3-bed 2-bath house nowadays.
Okay. Other than the economy and the cost of buying things, how else does your generation have it harder?
I mean, our parents were able to achieve financial freedom significantly easier than we were able to. Again, it's attributed to the economy. I think it's all sort of tied together, but they were able to purchase a home. They were able to, stabilize their income and find financial freedom a lot faster and more efficiently than our generation may ever be able to.
Okay. Any
If
other
I
way?
may add, there's no trust in the workplace just from an employee to employer. I just watched my father, who was loyal to a company for over 30 years, get laid off just because whatever reason. So it makes me feel insecure about staying with the company long term. There's no loyalty.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Brandon. I'm sorry to hear that. Besides economics, are there any other ways, and what Brandon shared, are there any other ways in which your generation has it harder?
A lot of professional programs are a lot more competitive these days compared to 20, 30 years ago. Like having a 4.0, entering into college is just like not really impressive anymore. Average like test scores for like med school, law school going up. A lot of jobs are more saturated, so it's much more difficult to find a job. Like pharmacy used to be a fantastic field like 20, 30 years ago, and now it's super, super saturated. So there's way more competition for everything.
Got it. Thank you. So let me call on you individually on this next question. I want to hear from all of you. If you had to describe your generation in a word or a phrase, what word or phrase would you use?
Tech savvy.
Hang on, I'll call on you. Give me a second. Everybody have one? You all have one? You do?
Yeah.
Okay. James, go ahead.
I was going to say tech savvy. Tech savvy.
Tech savvy. Got it. Thank you. Sam.
Privileged.
Brandon.
Driven, but limited potential.
Okay. Drake.
Unfortunate.
All right. Brett.
I was just gonna say savvy in general.
Okay. Ebram.
I would say resilient.
Derek.
I was gonna say savvy as well.
Eric.
I would say like technologically damaged.
Yeah, okay. Got it. And I'd also like to hear from each of you on this next one. Who are your male role models Could be family, friends, people in media, sports, entertainment. Let's look at hear who you think your male role models are. Everybody have one or two for me? Okay. Ebram, why don't you go first?
Yeah, I would say like professional athletes. I think like LeBron is a good one, just the way he kind of handles himself, and he's like avoided off the court drama and things like
Okay.
that.
Got it. You said LeBron, right? Okay. Drake.
I'd say my dad and probably like my older cousin.
Okay. James?
I would probably say Kobe Bryant.
Kobe?
Yes.
Okay. Eric?
I would say my Uncle Kenny and then some of my professors at college.
All right. Brandon?
I'd say my father and my father-in-law.
Okay. Sam?
Kobe Bryant.
All right. Brett?
My grandfather is my role model. My late grandfather, I should say.
Okay. Derek?
I'd say my dad.
Okay.